yes. We could really spend a whole evening on this question. It seems to be one of two things. It either is a strain in the person's personality, which can be known as a part of or a full-blown personality disorder. That is a particular pattern of action that's maladaptive and doesn't seem to be transient and continues. Or it could be because it is an indicator of anger, is another thing to look for. So it comes from often one's childhood. It also comes from biological disposition, not one or the other, both. Nature and nurture work together. But frequently in a relationship, you need to ask yourself, at what point in our relationship was my partner more available? What was different about the factors in our relationship then to which this partner would respond? Please. Okay, since you're living with a person, I bet you could name one. That's one. 2, 3, 4. You know what you've done? You know what you've done very well? You have defined your problem and you are correctly assessing it. Yes, ma'am, the car doesn't work as you try to start it.
I've got a thought.
I'll try.
What does a relationship look like to me? In other words, I know what a relationship looks like to me, and it isn't marriage.
Okay.
So whoever I become intimate with or becomes my other, which I do want, marriage isn't there. So don't at a certain point you got to write down what a relationship looks like to you, and make sure.
You need to define what you picture the relationship to be and what you'd like to see it be in the future. And you need to make that very clear with the other. So that if marriage is not something that you see in the future for you or something you want, you need to be clear about that and upfront.
What point do you share it with someone?
I would say that the minute that you decipher that the person's ultimate goals might be different than yours. See, everybody that gets involved, I mean, I'm exaggerating, but everybody, I'm not looking to get married. I just, want to be friends or just want a relationship. Everybody says that. And more often than not, one or the other has a different agenda. Again, not always, but often. So I think as upfront as you can be. I'm a little leery, as I say, on the first date because everybody goes along with that. Yeah, I'm just looking for a friend too. And then 6 months after just looking for friends, this is very typical. The female says, I think we should get married. And the guy says, wait a minute. No, I'm not interested in that. And I've seen many, many women who will come in and will say, I'm really in love with whomever. How can I get him to marry me? You can't. Right. Codependency is a loser, and you're not going to be able to help somebody that doesn't want help, or we can go in business together. I'm not wasting my life to help people who don't want help, because the best way to help them is to enable them to hit bottom by my not assisting them and getting them out of the pickle that they make for themselves. I have many, many spouses who enable their significant other to continue in the behavior. Right. No, there's no percentage. It all depends on what each of those individuals brings to the particular relationship. Sometimes death used to seem like an honorable way to get out of marriage. I have met My experience with that is that many of these people who were married and lost somebody, their marriage died years ago. Years and years ago. And if I come here again, somebody remind me to tell you a good story about that. But anyway, what's another question, please? I'm sorry. She asked, is there any difference in the statistics, and please correct me if I'm missing it, if two people get married where one of the parties, a spouse, has died and the other is divorced? Is it any different than like two divorced people or something? And the answer is no. There's not any significant difference that just by that fact in and of itself. Please.
I appreciate the three C's that you gave to us. And I guess I have a question does compromise become one of the C's as well? Because as my understanding and my experience has been in the power and control struggle after a number of years. And, again, you also mentioned how we really need to appreciate each other kind of like who we are.
The reason I don't list compromise as a fourth C is because if you constantly have to compromise, you're getting 50% of what you value and what you think. And if you're compromising everywhere in a relationship, it's usually not a good predictor. Again, any relationship is going to include compromise. But if every single thing is a power struggle, that's not compromise, that's misery and dysfunctional relationship. Sometime, somewhere, on one day, we really do have to dance without looking at our feet. And it's very, very difficult to be with a partner where everything is a major deal. From where we want to eat out tonight, to what movie we're going to see, to which bill to pay first. And this is a part of the difficulty of marital relationships or significant relationships today, because as women have come of age, and as they have become in society equals to men, and I think is very, very good, we now have more power clashes than ever before, because role differentiation, meaning who does what, where, how, and when, is different between the parties. I would be honest to say that in the last 10 years, I've seen more couples with guns held to each other in a psychological way than ever before. These constant power struggles. They can't agree on anything. And each of them wants to run the relationship. So oftentimes I'm afraid that's another predictor where there's too much compromise. Yes, you can bank. Again, no predictions. I don't have a crystal ball. There's always exceptions. Psychologists go with the statistics, the numbers. Yes, the odds are that if those three C's are not there and the three predictors of a healthy relationship are not there, it's a good guess that it's not going to work. Again, somebody I'm sure in here is an example of where this is not true. It's just the majority. It's like smoking, right? I mean, the majority of people who smoke get lung cancer if they continue and continue. But there's always some that don't. Somebody will always say, well, gee, Grandpa was 105 years old and he smoked on the day he died. I mean, there's always...
And if you see the flaw in the three predictors when you're talking to a partner, they haven't worked on these issues, what's the best way to introduce them and how they can work this out?
In order for us to have a good relationship, Mary or Susie, I'm sorry, I should repeat the question. His question was, if you identify some of these predictors that don't look so good, what's the best way to introduce that? And here's where it happens. I will say something like, Shirley, I really think that we've got a good relationship here, and I want it to work out for us. It's important to me. And here are some things that I need for you to consider and deal with me in order for this to go as I would like. Notice I use you language very little there. I'm talking about what I need for the relationship. If the other person says, you've brought up a number of things here I really haven't thought about, and it'd be good for us to explore them, great. If the other person says, what are you asking stuff like that for? You've got your own problems of your past. You don't seem to be dealing with those. You're hitting a wall of defenses, and that's not a real good predictor. See, when you hit walls of what I call defenses, where the person, whatever you share about him or her, the other fires back, pretty evident that the person is into a form of victim consciousness. Again, people are wonderful that we can invite and are willing to deal with these things. You know, Mary, you don't like about me the fact that I haven't had a very good relationships in my life. And I'd like you to feel better about that. And let's work on it. My difficulty in my work with people is their unwillingness to take responsibility and their unwillingness to do anything. Well, Shirley, you can love me if you'll accept me just the way I am. I can't be any different. Then you need to see if you can call a taxi or something. Not gonna go. I'm very grateful to be here at Holy Family. Please have me back. I always look forward to being here. God's blessings. Take care. Good night.
And thank you very much, Dr. Dyer, for a wonderful presentation.